to watch something good.
In the family sitcom boom of the 1980s, one Long Island clan showed us their smiles again and again, rain or shine, alongside the Keatons, the Tanners, and the Huxtables. The Seavers didn't have the catchphrases of their peers.
How rude! Did I do that?
Or the unconventional family dynamic to set themselves apart from the nuclear households viewers were accustomed to. And yet, Growing Pains hit the ratings ground running and went on to become TV's 5th most watched program by its 3rd season. So with great power comes great profitability, and at the show's zenith, the producers attempted a spin-off with a backdoor pilot. And the experiment paid off. A smash hit in its own right, Just the 10 of Us carved out a unique tone and sensibility among its eventual TGIF brethren. And it too built a massive audience, reaching number 7 in the Nielsen's.
So far, we got a hit on our hands.
So naturally, a show of this magnitude would enjoy a lengthy primetime run and wide availability on today's countless streaming services, right?
Aha!
Well, you'd be surprised. After only 3 seasons, Just the 10 of Us was prematurely canceled.
I hate it when you do this.
What took Just the 10 of Us off the air? How did a TGIF staple fall through the cracks of media accessibility? Which rising stars popped up on Growing Pains and Just the 10 of Us? And what radicalized the Seavers?
Watch their heads, you Nazis!
Find out on Behind the Backdoor Pilot, Growing Pains.
This is fun.
By the time Growing Pains hit the airwaves in 1985, the television landscape was dominated by the American family. Shows like Family Ties, The Cosby Show, and Who's the Boss represented the wholesome red, white, and blue-blooded households meant to exemplify the Reagan era. But rather than get lost in the glut of multicam sets, moral lessons, and canned laughter, Growing Pains was an immediate success and became a flagship series for ABC.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And the show's demands were simple yet firm.
Show me that smile again. Don't waste another minute on your crying.
That's rain-soaked singer B.J. Thomas crooning the theme for the first season. Jennifer Warnes joined for a duet during the second season, followed by Dusty Springfield for seasons 3 and 4. Most unnerving was the season 6 version, which sounded like an Ivy League a cappella group opening a debutante ball.
As long as we got each other, we got the world spinning right in our hands.
Now that's how you warm up a sitcom audience. Alan Thicke as Jason and Joanna Kearns as Maggie had a chemistry and charisma that attracted not only viewers, but one another.
You don't have to say a thing, I can read your mind.
Both recently divorced at the series' start, Alan and Joanna briefly considered a romantic relationship off camera, but ultimately chose to keep those sparks for a leering audience.
If there's any justice at all, I should get an Emmy for that.
However, nobody was prepared for breakout star Kirk Cameron to teen beat America into submission.
A star is born.
As impish scamp Mike Seaver, Cameron's devilish charm and comedy chops propelled him to heartthrob status, keeping his character in many of the episode's A stories and at odds with brainy sister Carol, played by Tracy Gold.
I don't want people laughing at you who aren't related to you.
Funny enough, this wasn't the first time they were paired up as siblings. Flashback to 1982 when Kirk and Tracy played brother and sister in a McDonald's ad.
Curly?
And that might have been their only sibling gig, if Growing Pains producers kept the original Carol in the unaired pilot.
Mike, you give a new meaning to the word vacuous.
Oh, yeah? What was the old meaning?
Actress Elizabeth Ward was originally cast as Carol, but test audiences didn't care for what she brought to the table.
Well, it says here that as the universe expands, all matter is slowly degenerating into an increasingly disorganized state.
The producers coaxed their second choice into the role, and the masses were finally appeased.
I rest my case.
Then there's Ben, the youngest Seaver, at least for the first few seasons, played by Jeremy Miller. 8 years old in the pilot, Ben's character would have undergone the most change over the course of the series by virtue of one fact of life.
Oh no! Puberty!
However, 2 seasons after her birth, baby sister Chrissy succumbed to the congenital disease that befell so many sitcom children from that era: sudden onset aging. Between seasons 5 and 6, Chrissy went from a babbling toddler to a singing, dancing, wisecracking 6-year-old played by Ashley Johnson.
I just wanted you to know I'm a step ahead of you.
Unlike Fresh Prince, which broke the fourth wall to call out a casting change,
Come on, Jazz, that's baby Nikki.
Growing Pains decided to let the off-screen growth spurt go unspoken,
Can I have Carol's room?
which is pretty out of character for the series as it reveled in meta humor.
I mean, how often do I come to you with my problems?
Every Wednesday, 8 o'clock, 7 Central.
Then what are these TV cameras doing in our bathroom?
Don't play games. The director's in a bad mood.
In a very bad mood.
No TV for a month.
Oh
Starting tomorrow.
no! Whew. I brought the groceries!
Hi, Julie. See you next commercial.
If you put my family on TV every week, I bet millions of people would watch. Yeah, Ben. Right.
Kirk Cameron's younger sister Candace also made a couple of guest spots as Ben's friend Jenny. Kirk would return the guest spot favor the following year on Full House. But if you're in the market for pre-fame superstars appearing in guest roles, Growing Pains had a few. The show featured a fresh-faced Matthew Perry as Carol's boyfriend,
Please, don't shoot me!
a double dose of Brad Pitt as a dreamy classmate and jerky rock star,
Get the hell out of here, you snot-nosed brat!
Heather Graham as a cheerleader,
Would you like to hear my victory cheer?
Maybe later.
Hilary Swank as a school crush,
Not in a million years. Don't ever speak to me again.
and one young actor who got a trial run of being on a sinking ship. Leonardo DiCaprio came aboard during the show's final season as homeless teen Luke Bauer, who the Seavers took in as a foster child.
Doesn't get any better than that.
27 years and a handful of roles later, DiCaprio and Pitt mentioned their shared TV credit during the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood press run.
We did start on the same television show.
Growing Pains.
89, 90.
Me, 91, 92.
Oh, were you? Maybe I was 90 then.
I don't know. I mean, we're talking decades ago.
Their enthusiasm is palpable. But as for the show's most memorable recurring characters outside of the Seaver home, they mainly sprang from the kids' academic lives. There you'd find Ben's friend Stinky Sullivan,
That was great. I almost wet my pants.
as well as Principal DeWitt, played by Sam Anderson of Lost and Perfect Strangers fame.
Out in the hallway, mister, and I mean now.
And thanks to Andrew Koenig, the real-life son of actor Walter Koenig, aka Chekhov from Star Trek, Growing Pains will likely be the only show to ever end an episode like this. Dewey High is also home to the character that producers handpicked to be the linchpin to the show's only spin-off, namely Coach Graham Lubbock, played by seasoned comedy vet Bill Kirkenbauer.
Oh, the wind from your applause.
Before entering the Growing Pains rotation, Kirkenbauer had a storied career as a stand-up comic and frequent sitcom guest star, having appeared on The Tonight Show, Mork and Mindy, and Fernwood Tonight. Interestingly enough, Alan Thicke was a producer on Fernwood Tonight, which itself was a spin-off of the cult soap opera
Mary Hartman! Mary Hartman!
It wouldn't be the last spin-off success for Bill and Alan. As Coach Lubbock, Kirkenbauer was a sarcastic taskmaster,
How do you people live with yourselves?
awkwardly shoehorning his experience on the sidelines into the class curriculum. He'd only appeared on the show a few times before he got a call from the higher-ups that he was moving on to the majors. Kirkenbauer shared that moment during a Just the 10 of Us reunion hosted by the Two Guys Into Fridays podcast.
And they said, hey, Bill, how you doing? You know, we're just over here at ABC. We just had a meeting, and we're talking about the Coach Lubbock character, and would you like your own sitcom?
Simple as that, he was given a screen test for the spin-off in 1987 under the tentative title, Yo Coach. The 13-minute test pilot uses scenes from the Growing Pains episode A Star is Born, where Coach directs Mike in a school play, as a launching pad for the character, giving us a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern glimpse at what happened in the wings during the Growing Pains episode. Coach is called into the principal's office, which is clearly not Jason's home office, and speaks with Principal Futterman, who is clearly not Maggie's boss at the news station. But that's to be ignored, since this screen test was never meant to air, as evidenced by this unbleeped line.
Listen, let's talk about the great job you're doing directing this play.
Oh, fuck the play! Oh, I'm sorry!
See, Coach is upset that he's being pushed out as a football coach and ushered in as the new freshman girls basketball coach.
Is that the good news? Just checking.
This sitcom premise would change, along with Coach's wife Estelle, played by Pamela Broll, by the time the official Backdoor Pilot was ready to run. On April 19th, 1988, the two-part Growing Pains episode, How the West Was Won, established the canon of how the Lubbocks were spun off. The episode begins innocently enough with Jason fondling his wife's undergarments.
This is fun.
But the party's over once Ben and Maggie arrive, and Maggie receives a cryptic phone call from her editor regarding the high school.
There's a big disturbance at Dewey High. They've sent 6 police cars.
Where's Mike?
Probably not the same laugh line if the episode aired today. Maggie and Jason arrive at the front lines to find Mike, Carol, and the student body shouting a primetime friendly chant.
Heck no, he won't go. Heck no, he won't go. Heck no, he won't go.
Well, it's catchy.
Maggie and Jason spot the kids, who bring everyone up to speed via flashback. Like Ishmael's tale of Ahab, Mike recreates what being taught by Coach Lubbock is really like. Typewriter impressions aside, Mike and Boners to Bone are made to stay after class, where they meet a junior Lubbock all ready for her spin-off.
Excuse me.
Hello.
Mike asserts his dominance by getting a dig in at Coach's expense.
I'll have to tell him that when I get home.
What?
He's my dad.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
This is Jamie Luner's second appearance on Growing Pains, having appeared as classmate Sheena Berkowitz in the Season 2 episode, Some Enchanted Evening.
Hey.
But she's not the only return guest, because here comes Brooke Thies as Sister Wendy.
I don't believe I've had the pleasure.
How soon we forget, because it was merely one season ago when Thies met Mike as Stacy.
I'm Stacy.
Yeah, I'm, Mike.
Granted, she wasn't quite herself back then, nor is she in the Backdoor Pilot, as she's the ditzier partner to the more sly and sharp-witted Cindy.
So, not interested, Wendy. Cindy, how could you say that?
And it wasn't long into Season 1 before those traits were swapped.
Don't you ever think before you speak?
Because I certainly...
With the promise of more babes at the Lubbock residence, Mike and Boner decide to check out the coach's resume for directions to his homestead. Unfortunately...
His address is a P.O. box.
Ooh, if I lived in a box, I'd be P.O. too.
So Mike orchestrates a ruse to get the secretary out of the office so he can consult the old faculty Rolodex. And he and Bone head out to where Coach and his burgeoning brood are holed up.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7?
He's Catholic.
Naturally, Mike and Boner want a closer look, so they head up the fire escape to really test the legal limits of trespassing. And it's here that the bombshell is dropped.
As of the end of the semester, I'm fired.
In their hopes to catch a glimpse of some bedbound babes, Mike and Boner instead find themselves in the presence of a grown man crying.
What am I gonna do? What the hell am I gonna do?
With the fire lit in Mike's rebellious heart, he fans the flame to Carol.
Look, I mean, this guy has really given me a lot, and I just want a chance to give him something back.
The siblings, plus Boner, organize a petition to keep Coach Lubbock on staff and work up the nerve to confront Principal DeWitt.
Yeah, but he hates me.
No, he doesn't. Yes, he does.
Mike gets some FaceTime.
Make it quick.
But despite his pleas, DeWitt gives him the brush off.
His contract simply isn't being renewed. It's a tragic loss. I'm sick about it. Thank you for coming in.
Mike brandishes the signatures they've collected.
Why do we teach children how to write?
But grows sick of being stonewalled.
Seaver, don't try to play mind games on Willie DeWitt.
How can I play mind games on you when you don't even have a mind?
Ooh, even the laugh track got shook. Which brings us to the Occupy Dewey movement taking place right now. Well, the faculty's there in spirit. But just then, the inevitable happens.
You're ordered to disperse
course immediately or you will be arrested.
The student body briefly complies until Mike gives an impassioned speech.
Look, I am here to save Coach Lubbock, and I'm staying.
I'm staying too.
It even gets Jason off the fence.
Jason, what are you doing?
I'm sitting in.
Maggie's news team smells blood in the water and hits record right when the state cracks down. A sight that would turn any parent into a full-on revolutionary.
Watch their heads, you Nazis!
And as the Seavers head for the slammer, viewers were given a week to let their imaginations run wild. When we returned on April 26th, Part 2 saw Ben dealing with family trauma in his own way.
Oh, my family's been busted!
But hey, who's this backdoor pilot supposed to introduce anyway? We finally get some screen time for the Lubbock home, where the family catches wind of the Dewey High riot.
Graham, honey, get in here quick!
And it's here that Maggie spills the beans about the coach's termination.
Dad's been fired?
What? Does this mean I'm not going to get my braces?
Meanwhile, the Seavers make bail with varying levels of zeal.
This was the most humiliating day of my entire life.
This is the most exhilarating day of my life.
He's not lying.
You guys haven't lived till you've been strip searched.
But not everyone shares his enthusiasm. Because of the kid's suspension,
I won't be receiving the Perfect Attendance Award.
Oh no, what have I done?
it's a wedge issue for the Seavers.
Carol's perfect attendance record is ruined.
Oh no, what have I done?
But lost in the minutia of nerd streaks is Coach, whose fate was sealed the moment Maggie's story hit the air.
Now, you see, Superintendent Flagel, he doesn't like his schools being on the news. I'm gone as of today. Thanks, kid.
Parking spot up for grabs. Maybe now the faculty will get involved. Coach returns home defeated and considers leaving the whole teaching profession. But Elizabeth isn't having it.
Those who can teach, those who can't sell suppositories.
Still, Coach would have liked to have heard one student tell him how much he meant to them.
Heck, I'd settle for, I'm better off for having known you.
So as Coach contemplates in silence, Elizabeth orchestrates an alliance.
Do you have a number for the Seavers?
The families come together to break bread as a way to smooth things over between Mike and Coach. But that's easier said than done.
Look, Coach, I didn't mean for you to get fired.
And I didn't mean to end up with 7 2/3 kids and no income.
He laments that out of the 65 resumes he sent out to schools, only one made him an offer for a lot less pay in Eureka, California. Coach is ready to hang up his whistle until...
I don't know, you've done a lot for me.
Coach's interest is piqued, but he needs to hear a specific set of words, like a sleeper cell agent.
All right, I guess you could say that I'm better off having known you.
Trigger phrase spoken, Coach can now dole out the hugs and forgiveness. He holds court at the joint dinner to thank everyone and casually add the drastic life change he's decided on everyone's behalf.
I know we'll do just fine in Eureka, California.
California!
And this time, viewers didn't have to wait a week to see the rest of the story.
Don't go away now, as Coach Lubbock and his family continue their quest for the American dream.
The premiere episode for Just the 10 of Us aired immediately after the Backdoor Pilot and cemented the premise that would carry them for 3 seasons. As the Lubbocks made the 3,000-mile journey to Eureka, California, Bill Medley of the Righteous Brothers serenaded the trek with the poppy theme song, Doing It the Best I Can. Coincidentally, this is 1 year after Medley's Dirty Dancing duet with Growing Pains theme singer Jennifer Warnes on I've Had the Time of My Life. Along for the cross-country trip is Mom Elizabeth, played by Deborah Harmon, best known for her roles in Used Cars, Bachelor Party, and the Plutonium Report at the top of Back to the Future. We've covered Cindy and Wendy, but there's also oldest Marie, played by Heather Langenkamp, who you'll undoubtedly remember as the lead in Nightmare on Elm Street. And in case you forgot, she's here to remind you.
This looks like something out of Nightmare Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, Marie, I really don't think you should be so negative.
Who's being negative? I love it. There could be bodies anywhere.
Like Cindy and Wendy, Marie's character would be workshopped soon after the pilot, turning her into the most pious and God-fearing Lubbock. But here, her previous brush with Kruger had an influence on the character. In fact, no less than 3 Lubbock children are affiliated with the Elm Street franchise. Along with Langenkamp, Brooke Thies appeared in Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, and journaling bohemian Connie, played by Joanne Willett, has a small role at the top of Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, as Girl on Bus. The show gave a nod to Elm Street roles with younger brother JR's shirt that popped up throughout the series. Unlike his sisters, JR would stay true to his character from the start as a horror-obsessed misfit.
Remember that movie Scanners, when the guy's head exploded, just splattered everywhere?
Yeah.
Well, I can do that.
Wow.
As far as Lubbock's with speaking roles go, that just leaves youngest sister Sherry, whose character wasn't fleshed out beyond good at school.
Well, what can I say? I'm naturally brilliant. And modest. That too.
With the Lubbock clan now in Eureka, California, the kids find themselves enrolled in an all-boys academy, much to the delight of the 4 oldest girls and to the chagrin of their dad.
Welcome to our world.
At his new job, Graham reunites with assistant coach Dwayne Johnson, a former student of his, played by number 24 on the All-State Major League Heat, Dennis Haysbert.
You're still bald.
And you're still black.
I guess Coach gets a pass then.
Are you in good hands?
There's also the headmaster, Father Hargis, played by WKRP's Frank Bonner in a far less lecherous role.
I need a favor.
You're the boss.
Yes.
Bonner also directed a handful of episodes. Not bad for Herb Tarlick. Like its parent show, Just the 10 of Us was rife with pre-famed guest stars. Matthew Perry is back as Goody Two-Shoes subterfuge for Wendy's wild date in order to pass Coach's screening process.
Leg or breast?
Wing.
Fellow Friends alum Matt LeBlanc appears in the following season as star quarterback and Wendy's dreamboat Todd Murphy.
Feeling my old self, Coach. That better be all you're feeling.
As you've probably noticed, the show wasn't your average TGIF program. Unlike the bubbly Perfect Strangers or the ultra saccharine Full House, Just the 10 of Us had a bit of an edge.
How do I look?
Like you'd do anything for $1.
Are you kidding? I've been working this corner for 4 years.
Well, then where's your candy?
Baby, I'm a little bit old-fashioned. But when I drop my pants, I like a man to be standing there.
While it wasn't nearly as racy as Married with Children, it had enough innuendo to stand out from the rest of ABC's Friday night stock.
All you care about is sex.
Just the 10 of Us, Friday.
As Bill Kirchenbauer told Just the 10 of Us superfan Jeremy Logsdon,
now when I watched this show, I realized it wasn't like the other shows. It was a little edgy.
the show further tested the bounds of TV PG content when Marie, Cindy, Wendy, and Connie got regular gigs as entertainers at the local pizzeria. Dubbing themselves the Lubbock Babes, the girls skirted the line, pun intended, of appropriate entertainment by high school minors. Of course, much of that comedy stands in contrast with the family's deep-rooted Catholic faith.
Don't make fun of my faith.
Elizabeth, I've grown accustomed to your faith.
However, outside of The Simpsons, few TV sitcoms poked fun at religion while actively embracing it.
If I said a few words, or I could say prayer.
And like Growing Pains, Just the 10 of Us enjoyed the occasional meta joke.
I'm Bill. I'll be playing your father.
Hi, I'm Deborah. I'm playing your mom. I know it's a stretch.
Smile again. Another minute on your drive.
You just missed your favorite TV show. You know, the nutty one that's on after Mr. Belvedere.
The mom on that show is so real.
But the show's post-Belvedere time slot was not long for this world. After a popular run of only 48 episodes, ABC did not renew Just the 10 of Us for a 4th season. One rumor suggests that ABC's then president Bob Iger simply didn't like the show, but evidence points to the smiteful hand of an entertainment behemoth, two names that struck fear in the hearts of anyone who opposed their whims. Of course, I'm speaking of Miller Boyett Productions dominated the ABC network circa 1990 and beyond, and legend has it that Miller Boyett forced the network to axe Just the 10 of Us to make room for its own adult-oriented series as a 9:30 lead-in to the news program 2020. In the fall of 1990, TGIF Night welcomed the Miller Boyett series Going Places, starring the likes of Alan Ruck and Heather Locklear. Familiar faces to balance out the forgettable show. The show followed a group of 20-something TV writers living together in LA. Not only was it a departure from the family-focused TGIF lineup, but also proof that write what you know isn't always great advice. The show enjoyed dismal ratings, critical indifference, and a one-season run that's been memory-holed by everyone who accidentally watched it. Even the most dedicated Jerry Levine fan had to ask himself, "What are you looking at, Dick Nose?" Reportedly, ABC expressed regret for canceling Just the 10 of Us, but the damage was already done. If the reasons behind its cancellation weren't bad enough, its present-day absence from streaming services and DVD collections has an even more odious explanation. Music rights. Because of the pop songs covered by the Lubbock Babes, Warner Brothers, which owns the rights to Just the 10 of Us, refuses to pay for the music licenses that would allow the episodes an official release. This, despite the show's very popular syndicated run on the USA Network in the 90s. As it stands, the best way to watch the show is on Jeremy Logsdon's YouTube channel, where he hosts the entire series, provides trivia and commentary in between scenes, and shares insightful interviews with members of the cast and crew. Check out Jeremy's page for lots of Lubbock love. Following the show's TGIF run, several members of the cast pop back up on Growing Pains as different characters, breaking the shared universe well established by both shows. Langenkamp was given a substantial role as Mike's Parisian fling in a European Vacation three-parter. Deborah Harmon and Joanne Willett appeared in non-speaking Blink and You'll Miss Them roles as crew members. And Jamie Luner was featured as Mike's undead date in one of the spooky vignettes in the Halloween special two-parter. Nice to see the cast working, but fans would have much preferred they stayed put on Fridays at 9:30, 8:30 Central and Mountain. In the meantime, Growing Pains continued to chug along, but not without its controversy. Kirk Cameron's newfound evangelism alienated the actor from the rest of the cast and reportedly led to clashes over creative control with the producers, which resulted in several of them quitting the show. Rumors swirled that his fundamentalist meddling, or fundameddling, forced producers to fire actress Julie McCullough after she posed for Playboy. Years of constant jokes about her character's weight intensified Tracy Gold's struggles with eating disorders, causing her to miss several episodes while in recovery. Following a move to Saturday nights and a precipitous drop in ratings, Growing Pains ended its 7-season run appropriately enough with a clip show two-parter.
Remember the time that you snuck off to California? Remember that weekend we all had to spend in Mike's?
Oh, well, what about the time you tried to fool that recruiter from Boston College? But that is nothing compared to the Goofy Glue incident.
The cast said their goodbyes on the same night as fellow ABC vets Who's the Boss and MacGyver. The following September, ABC series Hangin' with Mr. Cooper premiered and usurped the Seaver home as a temporary set for the pilot. In fact, the very first scene features a bizarre crossover between star Mark Curry and Alan Thicke as, and not as, Jason Seaver.
My name is Mark Curry. We're doing my new sitcom here, Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
No. This is the Seaver's house.
Alan soon drops the act, as it were, and the two banter about Mark's new show.
And you're going to use...
Yeah, we took over because yours was canceled, wasn't it?
No, it was retired.
Alan gathers up his things and after 60 seconds manages to overstay his welcome.
Well, good luck here in the hood.
Okay then.
Listen, if you ever need a white guy,
That'll do, Alan. With an original run of 166 episodes and immediate accessibility on both disc and digital streaming, not to mention 2 TV movies and a handful of reunions, Growing Pains definitely got its fair shake.
What's your point?
All we ask is that its worthy offspring receive the same opportunity. Guess it all rides on appealing to the human decency and fan outreach of Warner Brothers CEO David Zaslav. But he seems like a reasonable guy, right? Thanks for watching. Subscribe to Atomic Abe for more episodes of Behind the Backdoor Pilot, like our look at the failed Who's the Boss spinoff that showcased another live-in nanny.